Good morning. My name is Tim from Plugged Into Leadership, your outlet for leadership success. You have chosen to join me for Tea with Tim. This morning, I have my Plugged Into Leadership mug with my tea in it. Thank you so much for all the wonderful tea suggestions yesterday. If you have any more tea suggestions, you can go ahead and put them in the comments. But yesterday, I had asked for different types of tea that you enjoy. Got some great ones. Looking forward to trying some different teas here in the next couple weeks. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Molly. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are joining me on Facebook Live, I'm so glad that you're here. If you're listening via podcast, hello to the podcast crew. If you're watching me on YouTube, hello, YouTube viewers. Glad that you've decided to join me. What they didn't tell you about leading. So most of us, we had gone to school or we had taken some time in our early career life to develop some skills. Let's say perhaps you're a physician, or maybe you are in sales, or maybe you worked in an office somewhere doing admin, and you did really, really well at your job. You were the #1 sales guy. You graduated top of your class within your MD or your nurse school, and maybe you're a pastor and you went to seminary and you've graduated with your master's in divinity, or you're ordained and you're going to a church. You're at a church now. You're preaching. And then you do really well. You're just doing awesome at your job, and you've hit all of your marks, and you find success in all of those areas. And then somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, we're going to promote you into a leadership role." And you're like, "Yes, I'm going to be promoted into a leadership role. That's so exciting. I get to lead people." And your first thought is, "Wow, this is really, really cool." But then as you get into it, you realize that what you were doing to find success previously doesn't always work for your new role as being a leader. It's a different skill set. Being a really, really, really great physician or surgeon or nurse practitioner or physician's assistant doesn't always mean that you can lead an office well. Being a great sales guy doesn't mean that you can be the vice president of sales. Being a really great engineer doesn't mean that you can always lead a team of engineers. It's a slightly different skill set. There are things that transfer from one skill set to the other skill set, but leadership is more about leading people, inviting others along with you and developing them as you try to reach your goals. So what are some of the things that you need to know as you continue to grow in your career, as you are looking for a promotion? If you are a sales guy, if you are a pastor and you're looking to be a lead pastor someday, or you're looking to do a multi-site, or if you are just a physician at an office right now and you want to open up your own office someday, what are some of the things that you need to think about? On Friday, I talked about this idea of conversational intelligence. And I think it is so important that as you grow into your new role and think about leadership, that you understand this idea of conversational intelligence. I see a lot of leaders, particularly as I'm coaching, that kind of get stuck in these level 1 transactional type conversations. So in a level 1 conversation in the book Conversational Intelligence by Judith E. Glaser, if you get a chance to check it out, it is really great. I'm working on trying to get an interview with somebody from Judith's team on the show to help us unpack more of this. Hello, everybody that is on this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking about conversational intelligence. So we often, as we get promoted, we get stuck in these level 1 transactional conversations. And the level 1 transactional conversation is really based around this idea of tell and ask. So we get stuck in the tell, sell, yell syndrome, as Judith calls it. And tell, sell, yell is when we have a really great idea. We've done it like this in the past. It worked for us when we were in our other position. But now we need somebody else to adopt the idea. And then so what we do is we just tell them how great of an idea it is. And then we try to sell them on the idea. And then when that doesn't work, we just force it down. Just go and do it. Have you ever had a boss do that? I don't care. Just go and do it. Yeah, I've had some in the past. That means that they're stuck in these level 1 conversations. But level 1 conversations are going to be okay, but your ability to continue to grow and really succeed is going to be limited if you're stuck in level 1 conversations. What we really want to try to get to is these level 3 conversations, but there's a transition in there to level 2. So level 2 is positional. And these conversations have kind of an advocate and inquire. So there's a little more curiosity going on. You're not necessarily advocating too much for your position, but you want to get your point across. You want to get your point across, but you're also kind of asking for some input from other people. You may use a little bit more open-ended questions as you're trying to inquire with your team. So what are some things that you might do in this situation? Or this is what I'm thinking would work. How do you feel about that? So you're kind of giving your input. You're saying, this is what I think we should do. But then you're also kind of asking for some other insight. Now, one of the keys to getting from level 2 to level 3 is that you actually share and discover. So level 3 is this transformational. You're going to share and discover. So you kind of share your perspective, but then there's these interacting dynamics that happen on the team. That there's these team dynamics that are going on where you're asking lots of open-ended questions. You're inviting other people's input in, and you are really co-creating. You're co-creating. So when you move from a position, a sales position, just a associate pastor position, from just a nurse to leading a team of nurses or a team of salespeople or a team of physicians, you want to make sure that you're trying to move up the ranks in your positional and transitional conversations. So as we can be aware of some of our interactions, we want to start by asking more open-ended questions. And the key to an open-ended question usually starts with how or what. Very few why questions. How or what? When you're stuck in level 1, you're just telling. You're saying, this is a really good idea and this is why I think we should do it. And I get stuck here all the time. A level 2, a level 3 conversation is, what about this do you think is going to succeed? What about this idea gives us some traction? How should we go about thinking about success as we move forward? Those are some great team building conversations. So if you're a physician and you're trying to lead your team, instead of just saying, go and do this, coach them a little bit. Say, how would you move forward with this patient? What are some diagnoses that you think would be top of the list for you? And then just listen. Why do you think that that's true? So that's when you ask them, why do you think that that's true? You're kind of shifting back down into a level 2 position, but you've already got some information from them. You're co-creating in that sense. So that's it for me today. I could go on and on and on about this. I love the conversational intelligence model. I really, really, really want you, as you grow in your positions, wherever you are, to continue to think about this conversational intelligence and how important it is for you growing in your position. So remember that as you transition from being an expert in your field to being a leader in your field, you are going to focus on these conversations that develop and grow people so that you can reach your goals together. Develop and grow people so you can reach your goals together. As always, feel free to share this video on your social media. Leave a review on iTunes. You can find us on Podbean. Share it on YouTube, and you will be entered into the weekly resource drawing. I want to continue to equip you in every way that I can to be growing leaders, to be an amazing leader, to change the world with your leadership. You can do this. We can do it together, and we can make a team so that we can succeed in all that we do. Thank you so much. If you have any tea suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Love all the tea suggestions. We'll be trying those out and feeding back to you on what I thought of those tea suggestions. Thank you, and that's it. We'll see you tomorrow.